guys, welcome back to our channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what we typically do. It is something that has been on my heart a lot and something that I wanted to speak about because the point of view that I had whenever I was younger and how I've grown and learned from that, and I wanted to take that and share it with you guys. I usually like to stick to the topics that aren't controversial, that I can point directly back to scripture with, but this one is more of just my personal opinion, my experience, and how I think that we can love others better. So I've titled this A Call to Loving Others Better, and as you saw from the title before you clicked, it is about modesty, which is a very controversial topic, and everybody has their own ideas of what modesty is. And I'm not here to tell you specifically what modesty is or isn't, but we're going to just talk about how immodesty can affect others and what our responsibility and how we dress and how we act is. So this is me in fight mode for the cause of loving others better. And so I hope you guys hear my heart in this. And I'm not here to offend anybody, but just hopefully everybody can maybe learn from my experience or from my point of view. I wasn't going to, but I think I've decided to leave the comments open on this video. I know that allows for a lot of backlash or the controversies to kind of flow through, but I feel like maybe I can learn from somebody else's perspective, so I'm going to leave those open. However, if there is any kind of nasty, rude, hateful, just flat out mean comments, they will be deleted and they won't be on there for anybody else to see. I'm doing this hopefully to help other people grow, and I can grow from your guys' experiences and your guys' points of view, but let's just keep it respectful. So modesty is actually a kind of a difficult topic for me to talk about, but like I said, God's laid it on my heart. What I'm going to be sharing is a lot of situations that I've been in, I've put myself in, feelings I've felt, and ways that I have dressed for the sake of looking cute or appealing. And on the other side of that, these are also feelings I've felt and situations I've been in because of others' choices to dress immodestly and how that has impacted me. So this is a very big issue, and I feel like it's time that we need to get real about it. We need not to be afraid of sharing how people's immodesty affects us, affects our mentality. It affects relationships, and we're going to get into a lot of that in a few minutes. It is a lot, but I hope you guys will stick around because I feel like it is something that truly needs to be shared with the world. And I have this all written down, so if you see me reading, that's because it is scripted, but just know this is my heart. The topic of modesty a lot of times goes unmentioned because there's a lot of flack if you have a more conservative view about it. You're somehow stealing someone's freedom to express themselves in what they wear. We're called judgmental or jealous or insecure because people flaunting their bodies makes us feel uncomfortable. This world tells us that if you love your body, show it off because it shows that you're proud of yourself and you're unashamed. But our worth is more than what we look like. Our worth is more than showing our body off. And I forgot to mention in the beginning of this concept can be applied to men and women both, and in the way that you dress and the way that you act. I'm sticking more towards the women aspect of it, young women, because I feel like this is kind of me speaking to my younger self, explaining stuff to me that I wish I would have understood whenever I was younger, whenever I used to dress very flauntily. Is that a word? I don't know. And so I'm going to stick to that point of view, even though this can be applied to males and also in your actions. So because of the fear of being called a bigot or being called jealous or insecure, we don't speak out about how people dressing immodestly affects us. The world lets us think that if I love my body, I'll show it off, when in reality, we should be concerned more about loving others than loving ourselves. Self-worth is a big thing, but that doesn't come from what you look like or your good assets. That's all on the inside, and it has nothing to do with what you look like or what you can show. So we need to focus more on how we can love others better, and that is far more beautiful than the body that you're trying to show off. Part of this that goes untalked about often is that when we are showing our bodies off willingly and flaunting ourselves, that we are destroying other people's mindsets. Like girls, we are constantly we're super judgmental about our bodies and how we look, and if we're appealing to the opposite sex, if we look better than the other girls that are around us, like we're super absorbed with that. And it can really have a lot of power over us if we're not careful. And also it causes temptation for men. And we as women, the ones who are choosing how to dress ourselves, we are responsible for that. Like, that is on us. The way we choose to dress ourselves, if it's causing somebody else to lust and we're doing that on purpose, we must take that responsibility of how we dress and how that impacts others' lives. And in this world, it's something that is applauded at, and it shouldn't be. So one of the big problems here is the view of yourself over others. Yeah, sure, you're loving yourself, and that makes you feel good, but at what cost to others? You can absolutely be confident in yourself and love yourself and express yourself in what you wear without being provocative. Your boldness, your self-esteem, and any other great attribute that you have will come across in your attitude and how you treat and interact with others. Girls, you are so much more than your body. The problem with that type of self-love is that we're called to love others first. We're called to put others first. In fact, that's the second greatest commandment in the Bible. Philippians 2:3-4 says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also the interests of others." And that's just the heart of this video, guys. We are supposed to be looking to what is the best interest of others and putting that before our own selfish desires. Our rewards in heaven are going to be worth so much more than a little bit of praise and attention that we receive by dressing scantily here on earth. And let's not forget the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Would you purposely put yourself in a situation where you feel like you're not enough, or that your significant other's eyes might be lingering on someone else instead of you? No, we would never purposely cause that kind of mental distress for ourselves. Yet we think it's perfectly okay to, well, I don't guess perfectly okay, because a lot of times, and my younger self didn't realize my actions could affect, like the way I dress could affect other people negatively that way. So what I'm saying, I guess, is learn from this. So I'll say me for instance. So whenever I see other people scantily dressed and my brain goes, gosh, I hope my husband's not looking at that. Guess what? 5 years ago, 7 years ago, I was that girl. I could have been causing that distress for somebody else. That just breaks my heart, because that's a terrible headspace to have to be in. And that's at no fault to my husband, by the way. That's just like an internal head game, I feel like, for women. We're constantly just like comparing. And it breaks us down. So yeah, what I was getting at is that we wouldn't purposely put ourselves in those situations. We wouldn't purposely make ourselves feel like that. But we don't think about how what we're putting on is going to make other people feel. And I feel like that's something that we need to think about a lot more. We as women struggle enough with comparing ourselves to other people without all the extra skin showing, if you know what I mean. So let's talk about all the possible reasons why we as women or girls feel like we need to dress to show off our bodies, or feel validated by men, or even validated by other women around us. Men are drawn to that. So men are a lot more visually stimulated than women. They are a lot more prone to visual sexual sin. Not to say that women are not or can't be, but it is more prominent in males. So men like sexy things, and we want to be what men want, right? We want to be beautiful, because that carries the idea of we have value to the world. We can feel like we have something that other people want, and it makes us feel worthy. And because of that, we can overcompensate for what we feel like we lack. We also desire to be envied by other women. It makes us feel good. It sounds kind of funny to say, but in the girl world, it's like this secret competition to be like the best looking at wherever you're going or wherever you're gonna be. And even women and girls who are happily in relationships, we still feel that need to have an attractiveness, or to be able to attract. A lot of that is pride. We want people to tell us that we look pretty, or we have a nice dress, or our hair looks good, we have the perfect body, or anything like that. But also there's another side of that. Even women and girls who are happily married or in relationships still feel the need to try to be sexy or be attractive. A lot of that can stem from the idea of keeping their mate's eyes on them, because of all the potential things that they are exposed to on a regular basis, because society is accepting provocative clothing as a norm. Girls and women begin to think that we must show all of our assets in order to accomplish these goals of feeling worth, feeling like we're enough, feeling like our spouse or significant other is solely focused on us and not being distracted by all the extra stuff that's out there. We want to see how many compliments we can get, how many likes we can get. We want to feel validated by society. When in reality, you're making yourself the object of sin and you're making other people feel insignificant. Like I said earlier, I'm not trying to be harsh or rude or hateful, but I am trying to get this point across because it is destructive. And we kind of just accept it. And those who go through the emotions of feeling of little self-worth and like they're not enough, like they suffer in silence, and they're not allowed to say anything about it because that's judgmental or rude, or they're just insecure. And it's not fair that we can't speak our truth. This world and what it has accepted as a norm comes with the idea of like, who cares about the heartbreak that you've caused at home? Who cares about the relationship that split up because of the way you chose to dress? At least you were happy. At least you felt good about yourself. Who cares about the man who was tempted to lust? And ourselves, when we choose to dress like that, what about the heartbreak that we cause our husbands or boyfriends who don't want us sharing our bodies with the world, but we think that that's what we have to do? We want to be accepted and we want to look like everybody else. I mean, we've got to keep up with what's cool, what's trendy or whatever, you know? Well, I wanted to look cute and I felt good about myself. So, you know, happy day. And it's not like that. There's so much more to this, and it's just not thought about. Like, I think it's just more about like, do what makes you happy, live your life. We have got to stop patting people on the back for taking this perspective. And specifically as Christians, we are not called to live like that. We are called to put others above ourselves and take responsibility for our actions. If women and girls would stop making themselves available to look at in such a sexual way, it would stop a lot of these problems. But instead, we keep letting Satan use us to cause division and destruction. Speaking of Satan's tactics, did you know that when you're showing yourself off, you're letting Satan use you? Did you know that? Like, you're letting Satan use you. And he doesn't even have to try that hard because we want the validation and the praise from others that we are blinded and easily taken advantage of. And we even think it's our own idea. How crazy is that? Nope, it's just Satan trying to cause chaos, separation, and broken spirits, and he is good at it. Just because of the power of suggestion and the temptation of choices. We allow Satan to use us like an advertisement, and we do it happily. It's hard to admit, but we are very easily played when it comes to that. And you'd be kidding yourself if you think that Satan's not going to take advantage of it. See, when you decide to look sexy, hot, cute, however you want to spin it, Satan is using women's desire to be desired as a tactic to cause lust for men, jealousy, and low self-esteem for other women. So I'm just going to throw this out here to clarify because I feel like it might be something that is said in the comments. I'm not saying that women are solely or totally responsible for men being full of lust, or even implying that a man cannot control his lustful thoughts. He can and he should. A man can totally choose to lust over a fully dressed woman. I mean, it happens all the time. What I am saying is that no one but you can control what you put out there for the world to see. And I know culture has a lot to do with it. Trendy things. It's cute to wear booty shorts and a crop top or a short little skirt. As I mentioned earlier, maybe you haven't thought about the effects of what you wear. I, at 22, 25 years old, had not. And maybe you are like I was, just trying to be trendy or cute, or you're so blinded by trying to be cool or keep up with everybody else that you forget to be considerate. So please learn from my mistakes. And I still might not be the best at this, but I see the error of my ways and I take full responsibility for that now. And God is still working on me. Depending on other people's standards of modesty, like I said, I might not live up to that. I might not be the most modest of people, but I am trying harder and I'm trying to be more considerate of how I dress and the effects that that has on others. We should be trying our best not to be involved in anything that could cause others to sin. Otherwise, we hold the responsibility for that. I do still have to remind myself of these things sometimes. And I still struggle with the I want to look cute for my husband idea. But whenever I'm getting dressed, I purposely make myself think, who else is going to be seeing me? And how might my outfit choice affect them? And what is the impact of that? We can't always control what we see, and to be frank, we don't always want to see all of you, you know? Like, people don't, yes, there are people who want to see scantily dressed people. You shouldn't desire to see other people in their nakedness. It stinks that we don't have any power over what we get, like what is in front of us sometimes. We don't get to control what we're exposed to sometimes. We could be out having dinner with our families and in walks somebody who has like a mini dress on with their booty cheeks about hanging out. Like, my whole family's been exposed to it and we didn't want to, but guess what? There it was, it presented itself, and now everybody has to deal with anything and everything that might come from that. And sometimes it's just as simple as, wow, that's a lot. But sometimes it does have lingering effects. So for instance, like I said, someone walks in who is scantily dressed, showing their self off. A husband may have to go into fight mode in his own mind to not be giving in to lust. And a wife might be sitting there wondering if she's enough or if her husband is giving thought to what he sees across the room. Oh, and don't forget that my children have now been exposed to your display of sexuality, which is awful and breaks my heart whenever they're exposed to stuff at a young age that they don't need to be exposed to. Children do not need to see people's bodies being showed off in such a manner. Like, but it's that girl's body, right? It's her right to dress her body how she wants. Sure, it is. But I urge you to stop and think about the responsibility that carries. How many men are trying hard to be honest, true, devoted husbands or boyfriends? But it seems impossible to go or look anywhere because half-nakedness is so ingrained in our society. Like, it's acceptable now, and so we're just supposed to go with it. They could feel defeated, like it's a battle that they can't win. It's everywhere they turn. How many wives or girlfriends saw the way that you dressed and spent the rest of their evening wondering if they were good enough? It causes thoughts of insecurity and low self-worth, and it really is a mental struggle, and it's a hard place to be in. And if you are in that situation or have been in that situation, my heart goes out to you. This is also to all the girls out there screaming girl power and praising each other for dressing scantily, showing your body off, wearing provocative clothing, making yourself feel great. In this day and age, women supporting women or girl power is a big thing. But please tell me, how is this women supporting women? Yeah, your nice comment about what they're wearing or how they look great, it might make them feel good for the moment, but that'll soon fade. And she might spend the rest of her life chasing after another great moment of feeling good enough because of how she looked on a certain day. How is women causing men, committed men oftentimes, to be visually stimulated and lustful, which is adultery and a sin against the spouse? How is that us supporting each other? How is this showing that we love and care about each other? How is this building each other up? When we choose to dress immodestly, it causes pain and destruction for others. It actually weakens beautiful relationships. And honestly, as women, when we feel like we have to dress a certain way to be accepted and validated by society, it lowers your self-worth. Because then you're just what you look like. It's no longer about who you are, how smart you are, what good qualities you have. It's about what you look like and what that brings to the world. Not about all the other wonderful, amazing gifts that God has given you to bring to the world. So to kind of wrap this up, I just want to clarify that in my point of view, modesty doesn't mean not cute or not fun or not even that you're not attractive and you can't express yourself in your clothing, but just not that you're sexualizing yourself for the world to see. Your sexuality should be for you and your spouse if you're married, and that's it. So a few questions for some self-reflection, if you would like to take some time to do that, are: is it your goal when you walk out the door to cause lust for others or to make other people feel less than or insignificant because you have a beautiful body to show off? Do you want to be responsible for the destruction that this causes? This is a call to put others above the freedom to dress how you want, because others should be valued above what makes us feel good. If this is you, I'm not casting stones. Like I said, I was once there too. But this is a call to accept the responsibility of your actions. Reflect on your motives and try to put others before yourself. Dust off what you know is bad, strive to do better, and shine a little brighter. Remember, modesty is one of the easiest unselfish acts that we can do to show others love. Join me in the fight to love others better.